Do not attempt to adjust your picture. This is as intended. And this is Matt, aka Slash, and welcome back to Slash Feeds the Beast. Been a while since we've been here in the old base, and quite a bit has changed. I don't know how much of this is coming through on YouTube, because I know that the videos tend to appear darker than they do when I record them. But this is the new design for my basement, so to speak, the bottom layer of the base, and the end portal is underneath those half slabs. You can take my word for it this time. I'm not going to dig those up. Got my nether portals over here now. I don't think that I had moved them from the center yet, but I've got them over here with some stone brick panels to kind of dress it up a little bit. Haven't quite figured out what I'm doing with the rest of this area just yet. But I did design it in such a way that the only light source now is from these nether portals, and that's just because that's kind of unavoidable. Did a lot of work off camera with the base because a couple Slash builds ago, I think it was a couple, maybe just the most recent one, from last week, I had mentioned that the family was sick. Off and on, various members, and including myself, and so as a result, I was not able to record as I normally would. But I'm getting recordings out now, and figured I'd give you a tour of some of the stuff that I did while I was recovering and while the family was recovering. This is a ginormous lava tank, much bigger than the one we had in the old base. I've got going out to both sides. Liquid duct coming out this side goes into a bunch of geothermal generators. Each one's got an MFE on top. And then I run the power to wherever I need the power with glass fiber cables. And then on this side, I've got the liquid duct coming out, going into a bunch of magmatic engines. Those are powering redstone energy cells, which then I run redstone energy conduit to the various devices that I need to power from here. I'm trying to think if I had shown you redstone energy cells before, just in case I did not. They are basically MFEs for Buildcraft energy. So you can see this is currently approaching 75,000 Minecraft joules out of a possible 600,000 that it can store. So that's very cool. Eventually, I want to actually move all of these cells up one block and place wooden conductive pipes with gates underneath. We'll talk about gates here very shortly because I don't think I had any yet. But with gates underneath that detect whether these need to be charged and turn the engines on accordingly. But I have not yet gotten quite to that point in my automation. Let's head up another level. Oh, and at the top of the tank, you can see I've put half slabs down, normal stone half slabs, and then I used red power to cut these glass half slabs. And here's the liquid tesseract coming from the nether, where I'm pumping stuff out, and a chunk loader for the base, just so that everything over here stays loaded no matter where I go. Next level! Here's my machine level. I've got an upgraded version of the industrial blast furnace over here. These are the advanced machine casings, which makes the blast furnace capable of smelting aluminum dust into aluminum ingots, for one thing, and I think a couple of other purposes as well. Over here is a bunch of my random Buildcraft machines. Magma Crucible, right next to a liquid transposer, so this feeds directly into that like it did in the old base. Induction smelter there. This is not a Buildcraft thing, this is actually red power, but that's an alloy furnace. You can make brass in there for pneumatic tubes and a bunch of other uses. This here's an igneous extruder, which we've covered before. This is if I wanted to make cobblestone. I could do it very easily with that. Rolling machines here. Talked about that before. Thermionic fabricator. The carpenter from Forestry. Thermionic fabricators from Forestry as well. And then this is a centrifuge, which is useful for the bee stuff, which I've started dabbling in just a tad off camera. Over here's an assembly table with lasers, freaking laser beams, which is super awesome. This is like a really crazy crafting table that you put your ingredients over here, and then it shows you the possible things that it can make on this side. You select what you want, and then the lasers shoot down onto the assembly table and make stuff. And then when it's done, it ejects it into a nearby chest. So I put 2 there, which is a little annoying because then when it's done, I have to check both of them. But I like the symmetry of it. What I might do is I actually might move the chest to behind it and just have 1. And that might work a little bit better for me. So something for me to think about. Over here is the typical hoppers going into the pulverizer setup. These panels here hide the energy conduit coming up to power that from below. Then I actually have, these are facades, which if I look that up real quick, I'll show you. These are all the different facades that you can make in the assembly table. So, for instance, I made this here, stone slab facade. You make these cobblestone structure pipes, which is just the cobblestone pipe and some gravel crafted together, make these. And then you put these stone slabs together in your crafting grid, one on top of the other. And it becomes the double block, you know, the full block size. And then you throw these in the assembly table that we looked at earlier, and it will use 8,000 MJ through the lasers to create 6 facades onto this material. And the facades are kind of like the panels, except that they are flush with the wall. There is actually pipe right here where I've got these facades. You can see where I stopped making the facades. There's the pipe. The pipe's running right down here, but it's flush with the wall with this design because of the facades. So that looks really cool. It makes it look like there's nothing there at all, and actually hides it in the wall a lot better than, you know, going 2 blocks back or whatever. I've got some cosmetic stuff that I need to do here. I might redo this whole wall in slabs just to make this look a little bit more uniform, but right now it's functional. There's actually a diamond pipe back here that filters the output and goes 3 ways. The ore dusts, anything that comes out of the pulverizer that needs to be smelted, is filtered to go up and over and into the hoppers over here, and then they work their way down to an electric furnace, very similar to the setup from before. Anything that can be stored immediately after pulverizing, like if I've silk touched coal ore, you know, redstone ore, lapis that generates stuff that doesn't need to be smelted, I could just put it away, comes this way and into this ender chest, whose companion is upstairs in the storage room. We'll take a look at that shortly. And then the last one is anything that I don't want, like for cesium, for instance, that I'm not going to be using, goes through a pipe and pops out up here, comes down into the recycler, and makes scrap. Now you'll see these things. There's one here. There's one here. These are autarkic. I can never pronounce these. Autarkic, I think is how you pronounce it. Autarkic gates. These things. Which require a pulsating chipset, which you make in the assembly table, redstone and ender pearl. Also requires an iron chipset, redstone and iron ingot. And these plain gates, which are just redstone chipsets, which are made from redstone dust. And what you can do with them, if I right click, I say right here, items in inventory results in energy pulses. So when it detects that there are items in this inventory right here, it starts emitting energy pulses, which power the wooden pipe as if there was a redstone engine powering it, and pulling the items out. And then the items come up here into this packager, and the scrap combines to produce scrap boxes, because I don't have any other use for scrap at the moment. And this does the same thing over here, it's just that the output happens to be to this ender chest for storage purposes. Bunch of other random industrial craft machines over here, a second electric furnace, an extractor, compressor, screwed that up. Oh, I have ice in here for some reason. This is the extractor. centrifuge, industrial centrifuge. I made some helium cells in here for purpose that I'll get to probably in a later episode. Electrolyzers here, and then another one of these packagers for the tiny dust that I can turn it into regular dust with just a shift click. And that's all I've got down here. This is where any and all machinery that either requires power from Minecraft joules or EUs will go in this room and get powered from below. And anything else that works in this room that doesn't need a whole lot of space, although I've got obviously quite a bit of free space in here for expansion in the future. So that's working out quite well. And I realize all these floors are slabs and the ceilings are slabs because they're like the floors of the rooms above. This is all stuff I'm going to customize later. I just wanted to get the place functional first. Next level on the tour, storage. You can see a bunch of stuff is flying by already. All right, the storage system is using Red Power's pneumatic tubes because the tubes are smarter than the pipes, and items won't ever pop out of the tubes if they don't have a place to go. They'll hang out in the tubes till they find a place to go. So what I've done here is, we'll get to this part of the setup here shortly, but what I've done here is I've run these tubes all along through the middle of these barrels all the way to the end. On the other side of this iron door here, they go up and go across the top of the barrels. And then once they go across the top of the barrels, they come across here somewhere to the tops of these barrels and then down to the bottom to go through the middle of the barrels. And then ultimately, the pipe ends right here. And there's a little, I don't know why that chest is flickering the way it is. They all are doing it. Look at that. It's like a beat. Doof, doof, doof. It's hypnotic. But that's a marble cover behind there. And that's purpose is just to prevent this part of pneumatic tube from linking up with the pneumatic tube that's behind it. And this cover prevents this tube from feeding into this chest, because I just want the end of the system to feed into the chest. So it tries to try everything before it gets here. And then this diamond chest is just for overflow. Anything that didn't fit or doesn't have a place to go ends up in here. And then if I want it to end up in a barrel, I have some barrels that are reserved that I've just put like a couple pieces. Like here, this has like 8 smooth stone in it. Like that's something that I've reserved, that if I wanted to organize something into that spot, like if I wanted to put, say, coal there or amber, I can take that over and replace that, and then future items of that type will just end up in that barrel automatically. So whenever I want something, I could just walk around the loop, find what I need, punch the barrel, grab a stack, and be on my way. Now I've got some other random stuff that I know doesn't make sense in the storage system over here. I've got my soul shards. This we'll talk about at another time, I think. But I'm very excited about this. I combined a bunch of soul shards together to get the highest level skeleton soul shard. We're going to use that to get a bunch of arrows and bones. And then I also have a box full of bee stuff, because I've started getting into the bees, and that's just how I'm storing them right now. There's an actual bee chest, the Napiarist chest, that would be a better fit for actually storing the bees in, not the beeswax or this bee analyzer thing. But yeah, some project tables there. So this is the real meat and potatoes of this operation. Anything that ends up in the white ender chests, and if I have one downstairs, that's the output from the furnace and the pulverizer. And if I had an ender pouch on me, I could use that as well. But anything in the ender chest gets pulled out by this gate, goes into this thing called a relay, which is basically just an interface between any other system and Red Power. So this pipe puts it in the relay's inventory. The relay, when it has something in its inventory, shoves it into the tube, and then the tube finds a home for it. So that is the automatic storage system. This portal here is I got a couple portal frames from a dungeon way back early in the series, shortly after I had to reset the map or start a new map. And I didn't know how to really use these frames, but it turns out you place them, you right-click them, you choose colors, and then when you power them with redstone, even if you depower them immediately, they activate a portal. So you can place 2 of these, set them for matching colors, and use them as a permanent portal to go back and forth without having to use your portal gun. So that is pretty spiffy. And final floor on the tour, which is still open to the sky, of my, I think it's 150 blocks, or 150, I think is the Y. That's the height that you're at if you're on top of the ring there. But of the tower here, this is the exit. Have not quite worked out how I want this main door to work. I've mainly been flying in and out of the roof. I've got a couple of apiaries over here that I got from that village at the very beginning of the series. They're running these rocky bees, which will do their thing just being next to rocks. So they seem like they would be a fun way to just get started playing around. They don't do much, they don't produce much, they're lame bees, but they do something. They do bee things, and that's a start. Let's have a sleep so that we have some more light. I got my trophy rack over there, all the skulls I've gotten from a Vorpal sword. I've got my soul forge here for the creation of additional soul shards, plus a brewing setup with water source. My enchanting and anvil are here, and I put a clock on the wall. Oh, and finally, the last stop on the tour for now is this part of the setup. This is a black ender chest, and you see it's got stuff popping into it. Whenever anything's in that chest, this gate pulls it out, goes to this pipe. This pipe determines what to do with it. Anything that's in the red category gets shoved over here to be recycled. Anything in the white category comes up here to be processed in some other way. Mostly pulverized. But the purpose of this chest is just as a placeholder. Eventually I will automate whatever comes up this way. I will automate getting it to where it needs to go. And then all the other colors are items that should be stored. And this is sort of my quarry chest, or my mining chest. Anything that the quarry picks up, it's putting in a black ender chest right now. And at some point, if I'm going caving or something, I want to have a black ender pouch that I could just dump stuff in and have it come back here automatically to be processed. And you can see this relay shoves things into the system, and it figures out whether to go left or right based on the content. Here goes some coal looking for a home, and it didn't find a home, I'm sure, because I think my coal barrel is full, so it will just end up going right into the diamond chest. So very automated, very cool. It's pretty neat, the stuff that you can do with red power. I don't think the what am I trying to say? The buildcraft pipes would be quite able to handle that, but maybe. I just might not know how to handle them properly. All right, that's going to be the end of the tour. We're going to take a real quick break, and then we're going to get into a hopefully brief little project, and then we'll call it an episode. So I'll see you in a bit. And we're back. So, what are we working on in here? This is just a little corner off of the main area. And what we're going to be working on is Forestry's MultiFarm, which is a very cool concept. The way that the MultiFarm works is that you make a bunch of a material. Say stone brick is probably the most common, but you can use sandstone, I believe. You can use cracked stone brick, mossy stone brick, a couple of different variants. And you just lay out a pattern like this, whose size depends on the size of the actual MultiFarm block that you construct, and we'll get to that in a second. But you lay it out like this, and then the system, once it's in place, will automatically handle all your farming needs. So you make these farm blocks for this purpose. And you can, this is just for the general structure. This is like the standard machine casing or advanced machine casing for an industrial blast furnace. And then there's a couple of other specialized blocks, like a valve for getting water in and a hatch for getting items in and out. So what we're going to do is we're going to construct one of these. Let me get, let's see, that's 1. I want to figure out how high I made this. 2, whoops, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so like I said, this needs water. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to give it a water source directly underneath it that is completely maintenance free. Because normally you'd have to pipe water in here. But what we can do, which is very cool, we'll just put some ice here in the corners and break. There we go. Oh, I didn't need that last one. We're going to put one of these in. This is an aqueous accumulator. I don't think we've used that yet in this series. It requires no power, this thing, but you stick it in next to water sources and it fills up, and then it's a thermal expansion machine, so you can output on any of these sides. Now I'm just going to leave it as is because it's only actually going to output if we plug stuff into it. Now check this out. We take this farm valve, we place that right on top, and this will automatically feed water into our farm when we're done building it. We don't have to do anything else. So let me place, or move these torches, rather, to a new location. And continue working on building this out. Oops. Getting quite a bit of lag here just during the recording. Haven't figured that out yet. And I apologize if that's hurting the viewing experience at all. I guess it's just the recording software is using too much CPU time, and it's causing the server to lag out. Because of course it runs a server internally, so we got to fill this completely in. Unlike the blast furnace, you have to fill in every block of this, which is why I have so many of these. Hello, get in my inventory, thank you. Which is why I have so many of these things. Oh! I just managed to place that block in my head. Amazing. Let's get that in there. Up here a little bit. This is the largest size of MultiFarm that you can construct. And hopefully I counted out the blocks right, or otherwise we're going to have to call the episode probably fairly early. I'm starting to worry about the size here. Oh, you know what? I have 2 valves, or 2 hatches here. So I wanted one for getting stuff in and one for getting stuff out, I think was the idea. And I wanted to place the one... Oh wow, that's actually... not anywhere close to how many I need. How did I miscount so badly? Dang it. Wow. Alright, let's put that there. And I want one. Put it here. Like so. There we go. Do I have more in my chest over here? Or do I just completely miscount? Huh. I must have miscounted. Well, dang it! I'm gonna have to get the materials together for this off camera, I believe, because I don't really have time to finish that before I have to finish getting this episode recorded. This is why we're doing it, by the way. I've got a little pasture over here with feed stations in the middle for the cows and the sheep, and something else maybe over here at some point. I haven't figured that out yet. And what I want to do is I want to come up underneath each of these feed stations with possibly pneumatic tubes, just to catch the backflow. But whenever I want to grow wheat as one of the crops in this multi-farm and then feed the wheat automatically through tubes into the feed station so that they are kept full automatically by this system. But like I said, unfortunately, I have miscounted, and I think I also forgot to make a gearbox to power it from. Didn't I? I did indeed. There's the final type of multi-farm block. We had the valve that the water was coming up from. We have these hatches for getting items in and out. And there's a third type called a gearbox, and that's how you get power in. You would hook your engine or your energy conduit up to the gearbox block, and that would power the farm. But unfortunately, it appears that I did not prep that properly. So, here we are. Let me get a few more of these made. This is... Oh, you can't do it. Hold on. I gotta... 6, and then... What I'm doing here... Sorry, I kind of got distracted by this project. I'm attempting to make a mining laser. And I think I now have everything that I need for it, because I think I can just do this. Is that correct? No. Dang it. Mining laser. I need this 360K helium coolant cell, which I make with this. Okay, so I need tin. Gotcha. And then what? And then I need a dense copper plate, which I have not made yet. I have to compress 8 copper. Alright, well we can do this. Do I have more tin in here? Oops, that wasn't the chest, was it? Well, hold on. Let's get the 8 copper out of here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And, man, the lag's really starting to get me. I think I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Because I think, if I remember the recipe, which I'd make no guarantees, I think it's like this. Oops. Just gonna stack them. Get into that one. Okay, we got one of those. We got one of those. Excellent. And we need, what, more tin? So we got one here, one here. I don't know why I keep going in this crafting table when I want this one. There. And let's drop down here to the compressor on the machine level. And we will make ourselves a plate. Let's grab, I think I've got overclockers in one of these guys. Oh, that's almost done anyway. Think, there we go. Very, very cool. Let's drop this back in here like so. And 360K helium coolant cell is all set to go. We just gotta pop that in this recipe up here, and we should have a mining laser. Goes right there. Ruby, energy cell, which you can also make from a ruby. Advanced circuit, some advanced alloy, which you get from rolling the mixed metal ingots. I think we've made these before. Titanium ingots, I know we've made these for the diamond drill. Gives you a mining laser. Holds EU. I don't think I should not fire this in here. Let's... Oh, I wanted to charge it. That's why it was coming down here. Let's use this MFE under here to charge it up. And then we will go give it a little bit of a test somewhere and see how it does. That's enough. It'll get the rest of its charge from my backpack the first time I use it. Let's head straight up out of here. It has a bunch of different modes. I think it's you hold... Let me fire this. Yep, there we go. You hold M and right click and it changes the mode. So we got long range, horizontal, superheat, scatter, explosive, mining. Let's do this low focus mode. Let's get out of here and go give these a few test shots. See how they do on mobs, maybe? Because what I'd like to do is see if I can use this as a substitute for the bow and arrow against the Ender Dragon. So let's go ahead and land here, give you a shot. Oh, it sets him on fire. That's kind of cool. Come on. That was not particularly effective. What other modes we have? Long range. Let's see if we can get that creeper from here. I don't think we hit him. Boom. No. This doesn't seem particularly long range to me. How about this one? Got him. Got him. I don't think they take a whole lot of damage, though. Because most of that, I think, was from the burning that they went down with a second hit. Let's try it again on a mob over here, maybe? Here. Okay, that was 2 hits. That's respectable. Awesome. Alright, well, and one final hurrah here. We'll do explosive. Let's get far away from base, just because I don't want to have to look at terrain I've blown up. Let's get over here. It's a frozen wasteland anyway. Here we go. Here's just a random floating chunk. Pow! That's not bad. How about this one? Whoops. Oh no, I got that. Good, good. That one? It seems like the blasts are kind of going under where I'm actually aiming, but then they curve back up. Does it look that way to you? Yeah, I like this. This is cool. Oops. Okay, I don't think I actually exploded anything over there. Whee! Pew pew pew! Laser gun activated. Alright, that's pretty neat. I think it's good for, whoops. I think it's good for, sort of wide swath kind of thing. What's mining mode do? Let's hit this coal here. Oh, is it just like rapid fire? Hold on. Okay. It's like a rapid fire thing. It's an angry villager. Wow, he's taking a lot of hits with this. This is not particularly high-powered. Long range, horizontal. I think I know what this does. This, you hit a face and it shoots. Oh, hello. Oh, geez. Excuse me. I'm trying to demo for the people. There we go. I think you fire this and it shoots a straight line. Yeah. That's not bad. Seems to use a lot of energy though. Like, let's do a little experiment here. If I shoot a chunk down over here, we're at 48%, 47%. Yeah, that seems pretty pretty high level energy drain. What's superheat do? Oh, we got that. It cooked it. We got a full stone block instead of cobblestone. And then scatter. Oh, jeez. That was nuts. Let's fire it this way and see what happens. Oh, wow. That can really tear up a terrain. Alright, well, I think I've rambled on about this thing enough. It was, I hope, a decent substitute for finishing up the MultiFarm. I hope to have that taken care of in time for the next episode. thank you for watching. Thanks for your patience in the lack of channel content lately in terms of the regular shows. And hopefully we'll be back on track here. And we'll see you in the next episode. So take care.